Hey everybody, what's going on? I hope you can see and hear me. I wasn't even sure if this was going to work today, but welcome to the Low Budget Livestream. As always, I'm your host, the real Geno Reynolds. When I went to go set this thing up today, YouTube was saying, "Hey, we're not recognizing your microphone," so I wasn't even sure if you guys can even hear me. I did some tests and the audio was there, so hopefully the audio is there. But when I was on the page, it said, get ready to go live. It said no network connection, even though I totally have network connection. So hopefully you guys can hear and see me. Tonight's program unofficially is brought to you by White Russian. I gotta take it easy tonight. It's one of my hey, how you doing, Christopher? How you doing, Scott, Desiree? Um, so yeah, I had to take it easy tonight. Ever since Sunday, I've been feeling like garbage. I dropped my boys off to their mom on Sunday. How you doing, Ryan? Um, and I drop them off, and I wasn't feeling good. And as I was dropping them off, the whole day I had a migraine, and I felt dizzy. And I still had to go to a movie. I still had to go see Nobody's Fool, which in its own mind or its own right would have made me sick anyway. Um, you know how Tyler Perry movies go. Um, but I went to go see it and I was like, well, I'm feeling okay. And then when I got home, I got sick. So I am behind on everything. How you doing, Ryan? So I'm behind on everything. Haven't got my Nobody's Fool review done. I haven't gotten my haven't got my Bohemian Rhapsody review done. Still behind on Daredevil. I still need to start a game for Geno's Bad at Games. I got 3 or 4 movies coming up this weekend. Um, I announced 3 on Twitter, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that Chris Pine movie pops up on Friday on Netflix. That one about him. I believe he's playing Robert DeBruce, which looks like it'd be a kind of a nice continuation of Braveheart. So, oh, did I say how you doing twice? Probably did. I'm going to talk about how nervous I am doing these here later in the program. So yeah, I'm glad you guys can hear me, uh, and I'm glad this is working. Makes me feel a little better. Um, Oh, Christopher gets the Overlord. I am looking forward to that. I'm seeing that on Friday. I could have went to a screening of that, but I'm tired of traveling. I wish they had that stuff closer to me all the time. Today on the program, I'm going to talk about 3 main subjects. But if there's anything you guys want to talk about, definitely put it in the comment section. I'll be keeping an eye on that. And I'm going to try something today where I'm going to bring up some other windows. So if I disappear all of a sudden, let me know in the chats. And because I'll keep checking the page because I want to be able to see if I can pull up other websites so I can look up stuff while I'm talking to you guys. But what first thing I want to talk about today is my status with both Moviepass and the WWE Network. Um, Over the last couple weeks, and even before that, I've been talking about how neither of those things are making me happy. I don't like the way, just many different things of why I'm tired of both of those different programs. Starting with Moviepass. Um, I've gotten rid of Movie Pass. Now I still have my subscription through some certain date. It's a couple weeks, I think. Whenever they are not going to bill me next, which I'll talk about that in a second because I have a feeling I'm still going to get billed even though I quit the program. Um, oh, the sound cut. Oh, that was you. Okay, I'm like sound cut out. No, I'm having problems. Um, so Movie Pass used to be really good before AMC Stubs, figured out all the stuff that they were doing wrong and brought out a better program. Um, I wouldn't have a problem with Movie Pass with what they're trying to do now. If I could see any of the movies, see what they're doing now is they have certain movies on certain days. Well, they're putting a lot of the independent films on those days, which would be fine if any of those movies were around me. A lot of the movies that they have on the list are now stuff that are only playing in the bigger cities: Chicago, St. Louis, Los Angeles, etc. And they also have movies where they're saying, "Well, this won't go against your 3 for the month." Movies I'd like to see, but again, they're not playing near me. Um, if you do have theaters around you that have e-ticketing, you can see everything, but I have to travel, about 45 minutes to the closest e-ticketing theater as far as I know. I think Clinton Theater has that too, but by the time I spend the gas to go over there and come back, um, it's not worth it whenever I can just use the AMC Stubs, Premiere or A-List or whatever it's called. So, yeah, I decided to go ahead and dump them, and if they have a movie around me that I can see, I'll use it because I have, like, 2 more uses left, but I like the idea of London Fields, being the last movie I see on Moviepass because it would just be fitting. If you've seen my review of that or seen maybe Brad's, review of that, he had to come to Decatur to see it because some reason we got it and Springfield didn't. I like that. I think it would be fitting that that would be my last movie. But what's funny is I got an email today, and I'm going to bring this up. Um, and it was from MoviePass. From the letter, a letter from the director of marketing because they're so cute uh, with their uh, with their marketing that is very annoying. It says, "Woof, I'm Chloe, the director of marketing at MoviePass. I'd like to explain why, from time to time, uh, you may have had a rough experience with us, but it turns out that I'm a dog and I can't talk. What I do know is that I see these humans working like crazy to make MoviePass better and better for you as fast as possible. They are so grateful for your membership and support while they work it out. We're listening, we're learning, we're changing. Right. Um, and that's what's funny. I was kind of surprised I got that email since I dumped them uh, about a week ago. I think it's been. I have this feeling that they're still going to charge me, and I'm not going to be too happy about it. But we'll see how that goes. But Movie Pass could have been really good, and it was. But then when they started feeling the heat coming around the corner, uh, as De Niro said in the movie Heat, they had to be able to drop everything and run. They're getting sued by their investors. I'm willing to bet that lawsuits from customers will come after if the investors are successful in suing them. Movie Pass is in trouble. It's unfortunate. That being said, because well, look, the future of going to the movies is subscriptions. I mean, people are tired of paying high ticket prices and then paying a ton of money for food and stuff while they're there. That's why people sneak in stuff. I don't condone it. Um, but I just I think they had a good idea, but they just didn't know uh, how they were going to really do it. How because one of the co-creators of MoviePass is one of the co-creators of Netflix, and they're trying the same thing where they're trying to make their own movies and things like that. But the problem is, not everyone can see them. And whereas on Netflix, you have a Netflix subscription, usually you can see it. So yeah, so I've dumped MoviePass for now. Um, I know there's one called Cinema that's similar, but you can use it in any theater. The AMC Stubs A list is very effective. It's definitely worth the $20. They're raising the price for Illinois. It's less than $2. It's 21 something now coming up. And other states they raise it a few bucks, but still, if you're getting 3 movies a week, you can see them on any screens at any time, use them any you can use 3 in one day or spread them out. It's definitely a better program. I never thought I was gonna be praising AMC as much as I do, but they listen to the people that MoviePass wasn't listening to and made, a fantastic program that as long as they can keep the price low, it'll actually be pretty good. Moving on to WWE Network. I've been saying for a long time I'm going to dump them too. Well, I did. Even though I I tried to dump them and they said, "No, no, don't leave. We'll give you a free month." And I said, "Fine." Um And so I did. And then I knew they're trying to keep people around. I mean, you got to keep those subscriptions, but I just couldn't do it anymore. And I will forever be a wrestling fan. But as of right now, the storylines don't interest me that much. I mean, there's a lot of repetitive stuff. I mean, this year Survivor Series is, though I like the champion versus champion thing, it's just there's nothing really new. I'm tired of the McMahons having to be involved in everything. Um, I'm tired of the politics, and as we've talked about before, uh, the whole thing of them going overseas for the paycheck, and especially for Crown Jewel, which I did not watch. I didn't even watch Evolution. That was just because I I can't watch a 3 hour wrestling program anymore. I want to watch it. And I heard it was a decent show and good for the ladies that got to do it. But I hate saying this, but the only reason they got that they should have gotten Evolution way before. Let's just put it that way. I'm not saying they shouldn't have got their own pay per view because damn it, they should have. But the only reason they got it now is because people were mad about the Greatest Royal Rumble and how the ladies couldn't be involved in that show. And then now we did Crown Jewel, which the storylines and the wrestlers that were there and not there were all they were all dictated by that country. Um, It wasn't, they wanted to see The Undertaker. They brought Shawn Michaels out of retirement. Granted, I'm sure he got a hefty payday for that, and good for him. But and I don't hate on the wrestlers that took part in it. I do have an appreciation for John Cena who dropped out of it. Um, which granted, I mean, he hasn't really come out and talked about it, whether or not he did it because of what was going on over there or he was looking after his own career, a little bit of both. I don't know, but either way, he said I'm not doing it. Daniel Bryan didn't do it, and they had to write him out. Of course, they made him tap out to AJ Styles uh, on SmackDown before the event, which tells me, well, that was kind of a little, fu for not doing it. But uh, he didn't do it because it wasn't just for the ladies. He did it because of their views over there about homosexuality, and also because Sami Zayn, who yes is from Canada, but he is of Syrian descent, um, they wouldn't let him wrestle over there both times. He couldn't take part in Greatest Royal Rumble or Crown Jewel. So I get tired of WWE preaching about being this big time, we're making a difference type of company, but then they choose money over morals. And I'm not saying all the places they go are perfect, and I'm sure there's other things, but I mean, when a lot of the superstars and people behind the scenes are saying we're afraid to go over there, yet I mean, I guess they get a choice. But who knows who can make a choice and who couldn't? Um, but yeah, I just couldn't support it uh, anymore. And like I said, I'll forever be a wrestling fan, and I'll follow it and stuff. But being that I wasn't watching the network a ton anyway, I'm not really interested in what's going on anymore, other than just wanting to know, wanting to see it is kind of. I'll watch some things. Being that my subscription runs out the day after the next NXT pay per view, I may watch that the Saturday night before my subscription runs out, just kind of go out on a high note because NXT is doing some great stuff. Then again, I haven't been watching them lately, so who knows? Maybe they went downhill. But yeah, I'm done with WWE Network too. That's $9.99 that I'm saving every month. And Moviepass again, I dumped it, so I'm making some changes on what when we got the Disney thing coming out soon, which I'll be doing that because who wouldn't want new Star Wars and new Marvel stuff? I think they said something along the lines of they're doing a uh, a Scarlet Witch Vision show with the people from the movies. So that's kind of cool. So I'll save money for that, and you know, if I'm not going to be using the channels, I'm not gonna spend my money on it anymore. Let's go through the chat here. Let's see. Let's see. Christopher, yeah, you're the first comment. I mean, we've got 5 people watching right now. The odds are good. Um, let's see, you can hear me. Let's see. Don't overload myself. Yeah, that's a problem I have, Desiree. I overload myself all the time. Um, I'm just there's sometimes I want to relax really well, and then uh there's sometimes I am a workaholic, and there's sometimes I want to be lazy, but I do overload myself. With the Grinch coming out this week, what's my favorite Dr. Seuss books? Just about any of them. I like Green Eggs and Ham, Hop on Pop. I can't remember exactly what the name is, but they have an ABC's book that me and my kids love to read. Titans Impossible Garbage Fire. I haven't seen the Titan show yet. If you're talking about the live action one, I haven't seen it yet. I am trying to get my hands on the first episode. Um, I want to see the first episode. A buddy of mine's watching it and saying he's liking it, but I'm not sure. Um, let's see. Moviepass is shady, darn right. They're definitely going to get in some trouble. Um, yeah, you definitely, Moviepass again. It would have been if they would have been able to deliver what they promised, it would have been the right call to get it. But not getting it now, I definitely talk about not getting them now. Definitely stay away. There's plenty of other ones out there, especially again if you have AMC's around you. Um, let's see. How dare they use cute dogs? Yeah, they're I wasn't too happy with that. Let's see, still home for Young Avengers. Yeah, I th- I could see them doing that on Disney. That would be the place to start. I don't know if Young Avengers will get their own movie. With all the characters they haven't made movies about. I'm not saying they don't deserve one, but I could see them getting a TV show. That would be kind of cool. All right, I want to move on and talk about uh another Cinema Snob movie. As many of you know, excuse me. Um, as many of you know, I helped Brad Jones out a lot with the fundraising for his movie, another Cinema Snob movie, and they're going to be filming next week for the whole week, and I think some of the weekend. Um, and I was looking forward to being a part of it. Don't worry, this is not a big drama thing. Brad and I are friends, and we've talked about all this. It's I'm not able to do it. I'm a little upset about it that I can't do it. But it's nobody's fault except Macon County. Let me explain. A while back, Brad and I were talking, and uh, he wanted to go ahead. He had announced at least the first four people in the cast, and then he was going to announce, and then he may have already announced a couple others. I can't remember if he made a second announcement or not, where he announced like two or three other people, and he wanted to go ahead and make an announcement that I was in the cast. And part of me was just like, why don't we wait on that? I don't want you to announce it. Um, because if something were to happen, in case I couldn't do it. I don't want to promise people that I'm going to be in it and get all excited about it. Because I know there are some people that would be excited for me, and I was excited to do it. He was going to announce I was in it, and I said, let's just wait. Um, and so we waited. And the part I was gonna play. I don't know the character's name. I haven't seen a script. I can't really tell you much about it. But I was gonna be the cannibal dad, um, and that's why I hadn't trimmed this in a while. I was kind of trying to grow this big Amish looking beard for it, and I did there for a while. If you watched my review of the Nutcracker, you saw most of the beard, and then I hadn't trimmed the mustache or anything for a week because my barber was lazy. Um, so I was looking forward to trying to do it. We'll move back to earlier this year. I think it was about February, March. I get a letter in the mail from Macon County saying, "We want you for jury duty," which, if it's anything like the last time I did jury duty, Being that I work at a news station, uh, I won't get on many, if any, juries. I got on one finally the first time I did jury duty, and it was some traffic stop, like a DUI thing or something, or possible DUI. Um, and I wrote into them, whenever you respond and sign up, and they say, "Okay, we'll get in contact with you." I wrote to them and I said, "Look, I want to do jury duty. The whole court process interests me. If I love, I'm not saying I like the Judge Judy shows, but I like court dramas and things like Law and Order and things like that. And I used to watch The Practice a lot, things like that. And I told him, look, I want to do this, but being that I work for the news station I work for, I said the last time I did this, I got excused from juries and they never even asked me a question. And at the time, I was doing on-air movie reviews for my TV station too. So I was like, look, I want to do this and I want to help, but if I'm not going to get on a jury, you shouldn't waste my time, and I don't want to waste your time. And then I hadn't heard anything. And I checked back like every week for probably for months, 5 months, leading and maybe a month before I heard back from them, which was just not too long ago. And I thought, okay, maybe I'm not gonna have to do this, which again, I kind of wanted to do it. So I was a little disappointed. But then again, it's like, well, I'm gonna go in here and I'll get a whole book read, maybe even more throughout the entire week because I'm gonna have to sit in a waiting room for a week. Um, so then cut to a month or so ago, and again, Brad talks to me about the thing, and I'm like, I think we should wait till we can get it for certain. I had to talk to my boss. I had to have my boys for that week, so I had to talk to my babysitter, quote unquote, mom, about watching the boys for one day when I filmed and all this other stuff. I said, there's too many variables. Let me figure this out and make sure. And then I get the okay that I'll have the kids watched. I get okay that I can get whatever one day I needed during the week that they're filming again, which is next week. Because we have this big, like, covering Central Illinois thing where they go to different towns and talk about what's at these different towns. It's kind of all hands on deck, but I was like, look, can I take one vacation day, one personal day or something, My boss like, fine, we can work that out. So I had it all worked out. Then I get a letter from Macon County. I'm like, "Oh, come on." So I go and talk to I contacted Brad and I said, "You're not gonna believe this. Be glad that we didn't announce this. I have jury duty." Well, it turned out it goes from Tuesday to Friday. So I would have Monday, but I had told him I thought it was the whole week. And so he was starting to try to recast. I was like, sorry, man, I wish I could do it. I can't guarantee I can be there. But then the person he was going to try to get fell out. And again, I don't want to say who he was trying to get because I don't know if he's going to try to get him for something else and that'd be a surprise. Um, he goes, it fell out. Can you do it this day? And I'm like, no, I said, I've got this one day I can do it. And then the rest of the day, or rest of the week, I'm in court. I can't do it. It's like, if you can move it to the one day I've got or the weekend, I can do it. We ended up recasting, which I totally understand. And I am not, I'm mad at the situation. I'm not mad at him or anything. Because I mean, I don't want him to reschedule his whole movie around me. Um, but I'm a little disappointed I don't get to do it. Part of me wasn't ready to do it, but I was looking forward to trying it. So yeah, I don't get to be in another Cinema Snob movie because I remember when we were talking, had released a poster where there were some silhouettes in the background behind the drawing of his character, and I kind of looked at one character. I'm like, that one kind of looks like me, just the silhouette of me. And I was like, is that? I was like, would you like me to be a cannibal? And I he was gonna have me do something, and he wanted me to do that. But unfortunately, he had to recast it, and he goes, look, there's gonna be plenty more movies. And I was like, yeah, I know. I was a little upset, but like I said, I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at anyone involved in the movie. It's like, look, you got the show must go on, as they say. Um, so yeah, I don't. That's my update on that. They're filming next week, and I'll be in court pretending I'm on many episodes of Law and Order. Hopefully, because I'm hoping I actually get on a jury this time. All right, let's go through the chat here. Let's see, where was I? Speaking again of Seuss, and since we talked about Muppets last stream, do you remember the show that Henson Company produced in the 90s called The Wubblish World of Dr. Seuss? It's pretty good. I vaguely remember that. I know I've seen it. I don't remember how much I watched it. Um, I mean, in the 90s, I was in junior high and stuff, which I still love hints and stuff then, but I can't say I would have watched that faithfully. I do remember that though. I mean, there's a chance that anything, Henson gets their hands on is fantastic. At least a good chance. And Ryan, you donated, and you know what? I appreciate you donating. We put a lot of work into getting that movie funded. Um, I'm really hoping it does well for him. I've heard a few of the ideas. I like them. It would have been a lot of fun to be a part of it. But yeah, I it's sad I don't get to do it, but what? It's cool. I'm not, again. I don't want to hold back his production, and I don't expect him to hold back his production for me. Um, and I'll get my chance to do another thing with him. Let's see. Is that a White Russian? Why, yes. Yes, it is. These are my favorites. When it comes to mixed drink, that's my favorite. And I liked them before, as much as I like the Big Lebowski. I liked those before the Big Lebowski, which a lot of people are like, well, you like the Big Lebowski, so you like White Russians. Well, I liked those before. Um, and they're delicious. He announced people on his channel on Instagram. I couldn't see. I've only seen the six or seven people he announced. He told me the name of the guy that was taking my place uh, for the Cannibal Dad. I didn't recognize the name. Um, let's see. It's worse when stuff. It's worse when Yeah. It's worse when stuff don't work out. It's disappointing. I would have liked to have done it. It would have been a lot of fun. It would have been a lot of fun to see how one of those shoots goes for him. I've seen like the behind the scenes of like Jesus Bro and things like that. And I would have liked to have taken part of that. Uh I know he's working on another sequel spinoff to another one of his movies. I won't say what it is because I'm not sure if he's even doing it. Um and I may try to take part in that one. I like the idea, and I like the movies talking about doing another version or another spinoff. I don't even know if it's a sequel or a spinoff. Um, and I like the idea he told me about, so I'd love to take part in that. Oh, how you doing? Not the chosen one. That's still one of my favorites. Still one of my favorite names. Favorite Lantern Corps. You mean like my favorite Lantern? Um, uh, Kilowog is my favorite Lantern. Um, of course, I love Sinestro too. But I'm a villain guy. Um, Maybe he'll be in Jesus Bro 2. I don't know if he's doing Jesus Bro 2. I talked to him about an idea that was similar to Jesus Bro. Uh, I talked about him, and it's not something I know if he's going to do it or not. But I talked to him about, and well, he spoofed uh like Pure Flicks with Jesus Bro. I talked to him about maybe spoofing the Dinesh D'Souza movies, and movies like that, in kind of a make it a series, but not just all, it's all Pure Flix stuff. It's like, well, this is Pure Flix, and then you have Dinesh D'Souza stuff, and then pick something else for the third one, like do a trilogy of them. I can't remember what he said he was going to call it, and if I did, I probably wouldn't say it anyway because I wouldn't want to spoil that if he was going to use it. But I talked to him about that and thought that would be a pretty funny idea to, okay, now spoof these movies. I'm not sure if he's going to do that. It'd be cool if he did, though. Um, I mean, as many as these things as he's seen, he's probably got a lot of good ideas on how to spoof them. White Russians are my fave too. What's not to love about boozed up coffee? You darn right, Desiree. Cheers. Let's see. I know he said before that he has plans for a Hallmark Christmas movie. So yes, I know he's talking about those, and that could be even the a part of this series I was talking to him about. Like I said, we were just having a dumb discussion. It wasn't anything serious, and we may have mentioned it on one of the another Cinema Snob live streams. I don't remember because we did so many of those, and we didn't sleep very much when we were doing those. So, all right, the next thing I want to talk about, and I don't have any notes on this. I wish I did, so I'll try to hit everything. Excuse me. Um, I want to talk about the future of this channel. I know I talk about that a lot on here, but uh, there's some things um, I have to admit in the next or in the last couple weeks, and even probably before that, even though it's something I know I'll probably never do, I thought about stopping doing this at least for a while, um, because when a hobby starts to feel way too much like a job and you have no free time and you're not feeling good and you don't take care of yourself, um, it starts to weigh on you. And it's like it's just a hobby, man, and you want it to be fun. And especially for those that can make YouTube a business, you know, good for you. As we talked about last time, it's not something I can do. I don't have confidence in this ever being a job. Um, but when a couple weeks ago, when I had to cancel the debut of Get on the Mic Live, um, I part of me was in a way happy it happened. Because that week I was supposed to uh on Saturday I was supposed to do reviews with Brad, and Friday was going to be the debut of Get on the Mic Live, and I had notes for it and everything, and part of me wasn't confident about it though. I like the idea of it, but I'll explain why I'm talking about this. Okay, so we had to switch the days, and I ended up having to go Friday with Brad to do reviews, and then Saturday all of a sudden filled up, and I couldn't do the live stream on Saturday for Get on the Mic Live. And as much as I hate to say this, at least in this iteration, Get on the Mic is dead. Um, I'm part of me's not sad to see it go, and I know there's people that enjoyed it. And I enjoyed doing it. The problem is it took up all my time. When when I was at work, on the times I could do my own stuff, I was working on it. And I can and just like I talked about with the check your sources segment, in this day and age, a news program on, especially in long form, a news program on YouTube is kind of redundant when you can just click another button and find the story. Now, I understand I put a lot of things together and filled like an hour, and I thought it was a good idea, and it might be, I don't know. Um, there were some that enjoyed it, and some that were like, "Why are you putting an hour of audio on YouTube?" I heard both ways, and in this day and age of YouTube, where there's I mean, news YouTube channels are a dime a dozen now. I mean, how many channels do you see that? Well, here's the story of the day, with its clickbaity, uh, with its clickbaity thumbnail and title, um, and uh, I just part of me thought, well, Get on the Mic was putting the time into it as much as I love doing it, and finding the stories and writing my opinions on it. Um, I just felt it wasn't worth the time anymore. Um, and so what I'm kind of gonna do is, since I'm not doing that, um, I'm just gonna kind of incorporate it into this program, because we were going to be kind of doing the same thing on this program anyway, where if you guys had a comment about different stories or things like that that we could talk about. So, if there's news stories you guys see out there, just put it in the comments or send me a message over Twitter where, I'll be like, okay, people might want to talk about this week. And just like I did with the subjects we're talking about today, I might pick a few stories, but I'm not going to write out scripts anymore. I'm not, I may try to pull up a website and read a quote or something, but the time I was putting in to get on the mic versus the views I was getting, and I know it's not all about the numbers. Don't get me wrong. It's not that, but part of it is because y- I'm every now and then I get this feeling of failure. Um I when I don't see the numbers grow, most of the time I don't care because I know that the people that are watching are enjoying it, and I enjoy talking to those people. But then there's times where I'm just like, well, you know, it's not doing anything. And again, I'm not trying to forget the people that are watching it because I appreciate everyone that even takes the time to click on the video. But just deep down, I get that sense of failure, and I I don't like it. I don't like how I feel, and then I'll snap out of it, and I'll be okay for a couple months, and then I'll get it again, and it happens a lot. And a lot of times I don't talk about it because I can work through it, but I figured since hey, I got a platform here, I'm just going to talk about it. Eh, this is Doing this is fun for me, and I'm enjoying it. But again, if it's going to feel like I'm gonna say this: if I were making the money that some people are making on YouTube, I might be a little more motivated. And I'm not saying that I'm trying to get rich on YouTube now. Please subscribe to me so I can start making money. And that's not it. It's just I'm just saying if the numbers were there and I was seeing a little bit of rewards from it, I would probably feel a little more compelled. Um, but there's a point in your life where your time starts to feel more important. And that's how I even feel at work now. You know, Getting to my age, it's well, overtime is nice, but free time is nicer. You can have time to do whatever you want. So I'm I'm not I'm not completely killing the program because I have some ideas if I can pull them off to do a different version of it. It won't be a live thing. It'll be recorded again, but I have some ideas, but I have to figure out if everything will work with it. I'm not saying I'm doing it, but I am saying it might come back in a different form. So the live version of what it was going to be, I'm kind of bringing it into this. Um, because it's like, well, we're doing this now. Why don't we talk about what we want to talk about now? Um, so I encourage you guys over the 2 weeks before we do the next one, follow me on Twitter, the real Geno. Um, and if you have things you want to talk about, just shoot me a post on Twitter or put it in the comments of this video when it's uploaded, or you can put it in, if the things we're going to talk about today, I'll read from the chat. And then if there's things you want to talk about in a couple weeks, put it in the comments of this video, and I'll definitely look at them, and we'll go through them, and we'll do that. And then I'll be still looking at stories and things. I'm just not gonna write these. There was times when I was doing get on the mic that I was trying to have, I was trying to be witty and write jokes, and I like to think I did okay. Um, but there's just other times, just like as much fun as I was having doing it, I'm like, damn, I am tired. You know, it's like, oh, I got to record today, and now I got to go see another movie. And you, because usually I was recording on Thursdays, I would record on Thursdays at like 1:30 after I got off work, and then I'd have to be at the theater sometimes at 4, and then I wouldn't even hardly get to sleep for 2 days. Again, I was having a good time, but man, does that kill me. So I'm just trying to make this more fun. A lot of the rest of the channel isn't going to change. Um, I'm trying to decide on my reviews if I want to continue. I'm continuing talking movies. Don't get me wrong; it's continuing. I just may change it up. When I did the Nutcracker review, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go on cam for this. Why not? Um, as many of you know, I get nervous as hell in front of a camera. Brad and I talked about the other day. I was like, you know that every time I've done these reviews with you, I am having a heart attack every time. He's like, well, I couldn't tell. It's like, well, trust me, I could. Um, and part of me feels like I need to get in front of the camera again. The only problem is if I script too much of a review, which I try, I'm not that great at off the cuff reviews because I feel like there's times I may repeat myself or I'm afraid I repeated myself. And see how these fears are piling up. Um, I I feel like if I don't script it, I'll miss something. So I script too much, and then I end up there's times I script the whole thing. And now, granted, I thought I did an alright job at making it seem like it wasn't a script, um, but I want to be get better at being off the cuff. Maybe seeing if I can do it where I have some bullet points in front of me and say, okay, here's what I'm talking about now. Um, because even though I've been doing reviews on TV since late 2011, and even though me doing this probably never would have happened in 2011, uh, or at least before then, I'm more confident now. The confidence still isn't very high. Uh, got you know, I'll admit I have self esteem issues, and I always have, and I probably always will. So I want to try to do. I want to try to challenge myself. I want to try to. I don't want to say force myself, but I want to try to um yeah, challenge myself to, get in front of this camera and say I can do this. Um, so what I'm gonna probably end up doing is this empty little background behind me somehow. I'm gonna try to turn it into some kind of a little set. That'll take time, I'm sure. I mean, I'm just fine with nothing behind me, but people like entertaining backgrounds, so um, I'll probably try doing something like that, just to challenge myself. Because like I said, right now I may seem okay, but I'm just my heart's just going, and it's and as much as this helps a little, and I do better with other people. Like when I do reviews with Bill Heisenerd, we do like video game stuff or whatever, or when I do stuff with Brad or whoever else, if I get a chance to do other things with other people, I feel better when I'm with other people, but when I'm by myself, I'm pretty darn nervous. But yeah, so talking movies is going to continue. Reviews will always continue. Um, a lot of people may have noticed, though, over the last, I mean, some of you have been with me for a while. Um, a lot of you have probably noticed that over the last year or so, I haven't done a lot of advanced reviews. And as we talked about before, I'm just sick and tired of traveling because unless Springfield gets one or something, I have to travel to St. Louis or Chicago or Indy to see advanced reviews, most times St. Louis. And it got to a point, especially on YouTube, and many of you may have noticed this, that it's not, it used to be a really cool thing to have a review out before everyone else, right? It used to be the thing. Wow, I can't believe so and so got to see whatever before me, a Star Wars before me or whatever. Um, it used to be really cool. But it got to this point where, to put it bluntly, in a way, In a way, I mean, people do still like seeing stuff early in a way, but way less so now because it seems like everybody now can go see a movie early. I mean, when I go to these screenings, if it's not a press screening, you've got a third of the place or less of press people, 2, 3 rows tops of press people. And then the rest is people that's all they do all week is they get tickets to every new movie that is coming out. And it's crazy because it used to be that, you know, the whole getting to see things early used to be a little bit of an exclusive. And I know this stuff's probably people being that aren't in press getting to see stuff early has probably been around longer than I'm saying or thinking. But I started to notice that, well, here's the thing, though the only advantage there's two advantages to me getting to see movies early. One, um, I get to see them early. If it's a movie I'm really excited about and I get to see it early, awesome. For a personal standpoint, not from a review standpoint, but a personal standpoint, I get to see it early, and that's awesome. And then two, uh, the only advantage of being in the press is, I mean, yes, you're on the list, but if everybody else can get tickets, I just don't have to wait in line. They let us in first, and then the people that are in line have to get there hours and hours early to make sure they get in. That's the advantage. Well, I mean, yeah, I don't have time for that. I mean, I work, and if this were my job, I would be able to do something like that. But then again, a lot of the people get there, I mean, hours and hours early, and that would suck. But here's the thing that, yeah, it's an advantage that I have a guaranteed seat most of the time, but I can't talk about the movie until like closer to release date now. They used to let a lot of critics, once they saw it, they got to talk about it. But in this day and age of the internet and spoilers and everything, it's like, no, you can't talk about it until, well, at least preview night most of the time. So a lot of times you could release your reviews at like, I don't know, 10 a.m. on Thursday or something like that. Whereas in the people that weren't press that got to see it could talk about it all they want. Um, and after a while of traveling to St. Louis multiple times every other week, at least twice a week, I was going. And I'm not saying I'm not going to do it anymore. I'll talk about that in a second. But doing that multiple times and having the scoop on movies, on tons of movies, and I would say advanced review and to put it bluntly, and I'm not saying I got this quote from anybody, and I'm not saying everybody feels this way, but I know there's a consensus out there where a lot of people are like, "Yeah, you got to see it early. We don't give a shit." Um, um, and part of me is just like, I've decided that I'm still on the list, and I'll forever be on the list, which is nice. They did like me there, and I was putting in the work and everything. Hello, Lunar, what's going on? Um, so I'm on these lists, and I can still do it, but I'm not. And this year I've done this. I'm not gonna go see any movie. Um, I'm not gonna go see any movie just to go see it. To see it in advance. We're just talking about movies in general, advanced movies in general. There, Lunar. Um, about how uh, seeing them in advance isn't a big deal anymore. Um, so this year, the only things I've went to see early have been the Marvel movies and Solo, and I'm fine with that. Um, even I get so many invites. I mean, I can't remember the name of that new Mark Wahlberg movie where him and his wife are adopting like three kids or whatever. I have gotten 14,000 invites to that movie like a month in advance. And as cool as it always is to see a movie in advance, when you sit down and you're like, yeah, I'm seeing this for everyone, you know, it's cool for you, for the person seeing it, but you know, a lot of people are just like, you know what, I can wait a few days. Um, so yeah, other than I think the only ones I may be doing this year for the rest of the year, I think I'm gonna be able to do the Spider-Man Spider-Verse movie because I believe it's on a Saturday that I don't have my kids, so I can travel, and that I want to see that movie pretty bad. Is it cool? I mean, if people want to see the review early when I can release it, that's cool. But just me seeing it early for me is what's awesome. And then unless they change it with Aquaman and Bumblebee coming out on the same weekend, I took vacation then, so I can go down to St. Louis and stay down there. Hopefully, they'll play on 2 different nights, and I can stay down there and kind of make a little mini vacation out of it, and you know, go have a do a little shopping or uh, go to some nice restaurants and go see a couple movies. Um, but it's going putting in the mileage on my car and on me when it comes to going to see these movies. Now, if I lived in St. Louis, it'd be a different story. I'm not gonna move down there. I mean, St. Louis to me is a nice place to visit. And even then I got sick of driving there. Um, but yeah, for that, I'm not doing that a ton anymore. I'm only going to do these advanced screenings for me. No offense. If you guys like my advanced reviews, I appreciate that. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's just that the ones I am doing, I'm not trying to do it to get ooh, I used to get excited about putting my review up before everybody else. I remember I don't know if I was the first, but I got my review up for Suicide Squad up before all the big ones. Before the Stuckmans and the Jeremy Johns and all them. Because I went home and I started working on it the second I got home. And I had it up the next morning. Um so I get excited about that, but I'm not so excited about getting all that done anymore. And like I said, next year, of course, I'll be doing Infinity, whatever it's going to be called, and the new Star Wars and uh, Spider Man is Sony, so I'm not sure how that one's going to work out. Sony's a little iffy when it comes to their screenings in St. Louis. Um, but any of the Marvel stuff, if they're playing, because they play a lot of those during the day for the critics, and there's no crowd there, which that's always nicer too. I mean, I like going to see a movie with a theater full of people, but a lot of the people there are they don't appreciate a theater, appreciate keeping it down during a movie and things like that. It gets taxing, especially when you see the same people a lot. Um, so yeah, I'm not going to be doing a lot of advanced stuff for the channel anymore unless it's something I want to go see, or if it's something that comes near me. That's another thing. If it comes near me, I'm cool with that. I'll get invites from Warner Brothers to go see something in Springfield every now and then, or something like that, and I'll go do that if I can. Or if I get a free stub screening, which I don't know if they're going to do that much anymore since the A list came out, but who knows? I think they did maybe one or two last year or this year. I mean, um, so I'll do those. But when it comes to driving far, uh, probably not much anymore unless it's something I really want to see. Um, One thing I'm considering traveling for, if I can figure out how to do it in this day and age, it's kind of hard to do. And I used to get to do it a lot. I'm gonna try to do more interviews if I can set them up. Uh, even if even if I don't have to travel, if I can figure out how to contact uh, people to do interviews with over Skype or something. I'm still learning on how to record Skype and all. I think they have a setting now that you can record it. Um, so I'm considering doing that. Uh, I'm still trying to work out, how I could do all that because it used to be, I can get a press pass to a convention, no problem. Days of the Dead or Wizard World or any of them. I mean, they've all given me press passes, but getting to the celebrities is difficult. C2E2, you could kind of set up your own things. At least you used to be able to. Um, but when it comes to Wizard World, it's like, well, if the star wants to talk to you, and if their line is empty because money first, and um, it's hard to get them. C2E2, I was able to set up my own, which was always cool. And they even had rooms to the side that you could. When I talked to Bruce Boxleitner from Tron, uh, they put us in like a press room, which was really cool. You're off the floor, and you can actually hear yourself think and things like that. I want to try to do more interviews, whether I have to travel for them or not, whether I can afford to travel for them or not. I mean, there's different states I'd like to go to because I get tired of being stuck in the Midwest. Um, Lord knows if I can afford to do anything like that though, but it's something I've been considering trying. Let's see what other programs we have on the channel. Yeah, check your sources as we talked about is dead. In this day and age, it's just not when I can just go look something up on a website. I wish I think it'd be a fun game if access to that information wasn't so easy. Um, Geno's bad at games is going to continue if I can get a game started. I've got it narrowed down to 2 games. I'm also going to play some shorter games when I get a chance. Um, so I'm going to be doing that. Uh, I'm not sure what game I'm playing next, but I want to continue doing that because it's fun for me when I actually get to sit down and play a game. I am going to try sometime soon to live stream one. I'm not sure if my internet can handle it, but I am going to try to live stream a. It's not something I'm going to do all the time, but I am going to try to live stream a game. If I have a chance, it might be this weekend. I'm not sure how it's going to work with all the catching up I got to do, or I may have to wait, but I'm going to try and do that. At least try it once and see what happens. So, one thing about the channel, and it'll probably happen with this live stream. Um, After I started this channel in 2011, granted, I didn't really focus on the channel until a few years ago when I got taken off TV. Um, I may actually hit the money threshold this week. I am so close. Which after you hit it the one and they owe you uh, that chunk, I mean, I probably won't be seeing much after that. But hey, I was thrilled to see that the number was almost there. Um, it again, this is never going to be a job for me, but it was a cool accomplishment to see. Hey, that might actually happen. Um, so part of me is like, well, if you would have quit, you know, that wouldn't have happened. Um, and I knew deep down, I know I'm not going to quit when my kids see me on air or see me um, or they see me do a video on YouTube or something, or get to even participate, which I'm gonna try to do a little more with them. Them it won't be live, I can tell you that, but I may try something with them again. I want to try to do more than that. It just I have an issue about putting my kids out there too much, but most of the people that watch my channel are cool, so you know I haven't had to deal with too many a-holes on this channel, most and especially, I mean, there's a lot of people that I know watch my stuff pretty faithfully, and I appreciate each and every one of them. Um, but yeah, so that's pretty much all that's going on with the channel. If there's anything you guys want to talk about, again, put it in the chat. Um, or again, over the 2 weeks we're not doing this, definitely put it uh, like send me a message on Twitter or something, and we can talk about it on the program. I'm gonna try something here, and you guys let me know if I disappear or if I'm still there. I'm gonna bring up another window on my screen because I've never really messed a lot with this camera version of YouTube Live. So I'm gonna pop up another window here and just let me know if you guys are still hearing me or if I cut out or anything like that. So I've got another window up right now. I don't think you guys can see it, but um, I'm just looking at some news that's going on right now. Um, let's see. Did I disappear or anything there for a second, or was I still on? Um, just let me know. Uh, but yeah, some of the news that's going on in entertainment right now. Taron Egerton said he's not going to be in the next Kingsman movie, which honestly it doesn't surprise me. I thought they would continue the story, but I am still there. Cool. Okay, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure how this was going to work. I never tried it before. Well, yeah, I don't. You shouldn't see the news. You should just see me. I'm still working on how I can pop. People know how to do that stuff where you can pop stuff up. I don't know how to do that stuff. Besides, this is the low budget live stream. Um, all right, so yeah, Taron Egerton says he's not doing the next Kingsman movie, which doesn't surprise me because they've said it's probably going to be a prequel, um, which I didn't like for the second one that much anyway. Uh, let's see what else is going on here. There's going to be a Breaking Bad movie tied to the series, which I have a theory about that. Who out there watches has watched Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul? One of my theories is if you've been watching Better Call Saul, uh, you'll know that they keep fast forwarding to the future where you get to see where Saul ran off to. Um, and they keep teasing that people might find him. And I have this theory that, and yes, those of you that watch Breaking Bad, spoiler, but the show's been on off for a while. So uh, at the end of Breaking Bad, Walter White dies, um, which everyone thinks he's dead, but I have a feeling that he's still alive. And I have a feeling that a movie is going to involve him showing up to either help Saul or to eliminate Saul because he knows too much. I'm not sure what they're going to do with that, but I am interested. Better Call Saul has been a pretty good show. I mean, I still think I like Breaking Bad better, but I am curious with Saul with the stuff that they show from like the now or the future or whatever you want to call it. Um, and they show that in black and white, and I would love to see at least a whole episode, if not a whole season, in black and white. Let's see what else is going on now. I saw something earlier that I liked, but they keep changing things on these news channels. I saw something about they're starting to film the Deadwood movie, which that gets me excited. I don't know if you guys out there love Deadwood, but I was sad to see it go. Um, so I'm kind of excited to see it coming back. Um, Powers Booth passed away, and so he won't be in it, of course. But they've pretty much gotten almost everybody else that was in it, so I'm really excited to see that. Um, and I guess they're going to be doing where it's going to be uh, like 10 years later, so they can address some people that aren't there and everything, and people looking older and everything like that. Um, oh, they're going to be making a Gladiator sequel, uh, which honestly that doesn't surprise me. I'm just glad it's not the sequel they talked about years ago, where uh, it was going to be Russell Crowe's character in the afterlife, which in a way that kind of would have been neat, but I would rather see. I guess what the sequel they're talking about making is about his son, so I'm cool with that. And Ridley Scott is in talks, I guess. Um, Something we talked about on Check Your Sources. Ewan McGregor is in talks to play Black Mask for Birds of Prey. That's kind of cool. Um, he's the kind of actor I'd love to see perform behind a mask. I mean, it's just to see how good he really is. I think he'll be good, but I look forward to seeing that. Let's see what else we got going on here. Um, though I haven't done my review, what let me those of you that seen Bohemian Rhapsody, let me know your thoughts about what they decided to change about that movie and how safe they tried to keep that movie. Let me know your thoughts on that. I'm curious to know what people think about that. And as always, let's keep it civil. Um, but yeah, I had a big issue with how safe that movie was. Um, Long story short, even though I'll put this in the review, um, I think that Freddie Mercury didn't live a PG-13 life. I'll just start with that. Let's see what else we got going on. Oh man, these news sites are so hard to navigate through because they repeat themselves. Um, let's see what we got in the chat here. Let's see. Let's see. Got to be extra super secret now, especially with Disney owning Star Wars and Marvel. I couldn't even tell people what new fancy Star Wars merch we got at work during Star Wars Day. Wow. Um, yeah, they. Whenever I go to see a Star Wars or a Marvel movie, they're definitely now with the press. They usually let us keep our phones because they trust us because they know we don't want to give up our meal ticket, so to speak. But they do uh they are like they're shut off. We don't want to see them. If we see them, if we see an Apple Watch light up, if we see a flash on your glasses, which I don't wear glasses, but like we see a flash on your glasses, we're gonna think you're wearing Google glasses, and we're gonna check, and they're definitely all over you with that. And I remember I was seeing it's when they brought one of the screenings to see. There's always security guards at these. There's a security service that does all these movies. I got pretty friendly, with a lot of them. Um, but they'll send someone whenever they send a screening to Springfield or something like that. They will uh, they'll send these security guards. And I remember Brad was joking. I think it's when we went and seen that last King Arthur movie, the Guy Ritchie one. He was calling them like the Russian mob because there was, I mean, there's this female security guard, and she in a way reminded me of a blonde Ruby Rose. She looked like she was skinnier, but she looked like she could totally kick your ass. And he was joking about it's like, yeah, the Russian mob's here again. Um, but yeah, they're definitely all over you. And I guess during those screenings, they're watching you through like night vision goggles and stuff. So yeah, they're pretty, they put up signs and they make the people that aren't press leave their phones in their car for a lot of them. I remember when I saw Rogue One, um, they they made it was just a press screening and they made us leave our phones in the car because they're very secretive about that. Which honestly, I'm cool with that. People don't need when you're in a movie theater. Even though now there's games and all sorts of stuff for you to play before the movie. Thank you, Screen Vision and all that stuff. Um, you don't need your phone. I get so sick and tired of seeing phones light up in a theater. Sometimes it looks like a damn Christmas tree. Um, and as many movies as I go see, it gets really old really quick. Let's see. Love hearing the news about movies and other stuff, and I love doing it too. We're gonna incorporate it in this though. So yeah, get on the mic is gone, but we can do our news and stuff in like in this, and I'm gonna like I said, I'll look at the now that I know it works, I can look at other websites and stuff while I'm doing this. So let's see. Okay, you guys are saying I'm still there, which I'm happy it didn't go away. Rumors of a Shrek reboot, and they're also talking about rebooting Puss in Boots too. I'm honestly surprised about that. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not really surprised about that, but being that Netflix has like the big deal with Puss in Boots and stuff with a show, I don't know if they're still making the show, but um, I, in a way, I figured they were going to go the avenue of like a Netflix or something and keep going that way. But who knows who's going to star in the next Shrek if they do it. Why I don't. I here To be perfectly honest, I only saw the first Shrek movie. And it was a weird. I saw it at a weird age. I don't remember what year it came out, but I remember thinking, I know they made it more kid friendly with part two, but man, I remember thinking some weird thoughts about like the Farquaad sitting in the bed watching the Magic Mirror, thinking, "Wow, that's awful weird for a kids movie." But then again, I wasn't much in them. I mean, I was into movies then, but I wasn't really following anything. But yeah, when it comes to Shrek, again, I'm not surprised, but in a way, I wish they'd just leave it alone. Um, let's see, Taron Egerton, I'm sure will make one more sequel. Yeah, I'm sure they'll make at least one more sequel to Kingsman. Um, hopefully they don't jump so much time that all of a sudden the girl he got the reward from at the end of the first one's all of a sudden his almost married girl, or he almost married her. That was just kind of weird because where was that character development? Illumination's making a sequel to Sing, big surprise there. I'm sure they'll be advertising it in the Grinch. Oh wait, no, they have the advertisement for the Grinch will probably be Secret Life of Pets 2. I forgot they just released some stuff on that today. I haven't seen any of it, but there's going to be a live action adaptation of the anime manga My Hero Academia, produced by a dude who produced Godzilla and King Kong Skull Island. I've never seen that anime. I've heard good things about it. My friends that like anime like that one. Um, I'm always curious when they make live action anime stuff uh, to see how they're going to handle it. Even though I'm not really excited for it, I'm curious about that Alita Battle Angel, because I know the girl's supposed to be like an android or whatever in that, but they did the thing that they were talking about doing to Scarlett Johansson with making the eyes bigger and everything. Um, so I'm really curious how they're going to handle that. Gladiator, didn't everyone die? The son didn't. Um, so they can make a movie about the son. I mean, yeah, Russell Crowe's character died, and of course, Joaquin Phoenix character died pretty bad. But yeah, I could see him making a movie about that. I'd rather it be that than what they've been always talking about. Um, someone told me that Marvel will introduce the X-Men in the MCU with the Dark Phoenix movie. I don't know if they're going to do it with the Dark Phoenix movie or not. I know they pushed it back a couple times. Um, I have a feeling they're just going to end. I part of me doesn't want to see those characters in the MCU, especially since there's two Quicksilvers, unless they do some alternate universe thing, which would just be annoying. I think they should end it with this Dark Phoenix movie, or as I like to call it, the remake of The Last Stand, because it looks exactly the same. Um, and hopefully it'll be better, but who knows? Um, if they're going to introduce anything in the new Infinity movie, whatever it may be called, I think it's going to be Galactus and the Fantastic Four. That's what I see happening next. I think they're going to take their time with the X-Men, let people forget about these X-Men, and then introduce them later. They got all the time and all the money to do it. Let's see. During the D23 Expo, they had us put our phones in special infrared bags that they could check with special goggles. Same thing, same kind of black suit guards. Yeah, they're pretty, you know, in your face about that. Where they don't want anything getting out. Which hey, I'm fine with that. As much as I like telling people about movies, I don't like spoiling it before people have at least had a chance to see it. Um, let's see. They would show us stuff like Wreck It Ralph, Princess scene months before the trailer. Yeah, trailers give away too much. Is anyone else afraid of the Wreck It Ralph movie, the sequel? I mean, I love the original and I want to have faith in this new one, but it looks like the Emoji Movie. I really hope that's just a little bit of it, not the whole movie like the Emoji Movie. Um, have I seen Troll Hunters? No, but I want to. It's on the list, so to speak. I don't think the Shrek thing will really be a reboot, more like a reintroduction or something. Shrek's profitable enough for nostalgia. I can see him doing that. I mean, Michael Myers doesn't do, or I'm sorry, Mike Myers, not Michael Myers. Mike Myers hasn't done a ton. He was in Bohemian Rhapsody, which that was in a way kind of funny. With him being in that because he was playing he wasn't playing a real guy. He was a kind of an interpretation of like a record manager. And he was hard to recognize was him, but having him in that being uh that Wayne's World kind of brought people back to, Queen stuff, with Bohemian Rhapsody being in the first Wayne's World movie. It's kind of cool to see him in that. Um Yeah, I'm looking forward to Wreck-It Ralph 2, but I'm scared of it. Um, I did not expect to see Mary Poppins. Those trailers are beautiful. You know, what's funny is I didn't read anything on the Mary Poppins movie at first. Um, and I was curious about it, thinking, "Oh, these characters are playing the same characters from the first movie?" But then it turns out that the adults were the kids, which I'm a little more okay with that. I'm still worried about that movie. I think it's gonna be good though. I like the way it looks. It looks like the original, and I like that. Emily Blunt's great, so I have a I have a lot of hope for that movie. I don't know what I expect, but I have a lot of hope for the Mary Poppins movie. I'm okay. I'm more okay with it now that I saw the second trailer and learned that no, that's not supposed to be the original characters. That's supposed to be the kids grown up. Let's see. Outlaw King, I hope is good. Not a fan of Braveheart, as I'm a bit too much of a history nerd. And the movie is, yeah, that movie is a mess in accuracy, big time. Outlaw King is about Robert the Bruce. Hopefully, I hope Netflix does it right. Yeah, it comes out Friday. I'm looking forward to it. I know there. I mean, the only stories you see about that movie are about seeing Chris Pine's Wang, but I think the movie looks fantastic. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I'm seeing 2 movies on Friday, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna come home that night and watch it because I'm really looking forward to it. Still hoping X-Men are introduced by T'Challa meeting Storm. Yeah, if you're gonna introduce the X-Men, you have to do T'Challa and Storm. I can't remember the character's name that they were trying to set up the love story with in the first Black Panther movie. And I think they were trying to make up to the fact that they didn't have Storm with that, but now that they kind of do, uh, I have a feeling they're going to kind of forget that love story and introduce Storm, which is great. I always love the fact that they brought them two together. Um, let's see. Speaking of Ralph Breaks the Internet, they showed extended scenes and behind the scenes footage at Fan Expo. It honestly looks really great. You know, the more stuff I see from it, the more confident I am. But when the first trailer, like I said, looked like the Emoji Movie, I'm like, come on. Um, I just, I was afraid of it. I'm really hoping I'm wrong because I was afraid of the first one too. Thinking it was going to be just all here's a bunch of video game references, and that stuff was in there, but they created their own games and their own characters, and it was a great movie, and I love that movie. So I'm really hoping they can do it again. Let's see. When you compare the Ralph trailers to Poppins, it's a big difference. Um, what do you mean by big difference? Or just like how they look and everything? They're definitely feel like two different studios made it. But then again, it's all Disney. It's all Master Walt. Um, yeah, the first trailer for Wreck-It Ralph 2 did look like a big ad for Disney. I mean, when they showed that, here's the Disney site, and here's the princesses, and here's apparently they had to cut some joke out about Kylo Ren being a whiny kid. They didn't want people to, they want Star Wars fans to get upset or something, or they wanted to, no, he's an adult. It's like, you know what? Have a sense of humor. Um, I mean, they had to cut out some Disney joke from Deadpool 2 also, which it's like, come on, just let them have their fun. Speaking of Deadpool 2, they brought information out about that PG-13. It's I can't remember what they called it, um, but it's a Deadpool Christmas or something like that, which is going to be a re-edited version of Deadpool 2 with cut-ins with Fred Savage and stuff. I'm curious. I really am curious about it. I have a feeling that they're gonna make a lot of fun of PG-13, and at the end of that movie, they're gonna say, "Well, we get one F-bomb," and they're gonna use it. And I think that, Fred Savage is gonna steal it. That's my thought. He's gonna steal that F-bomb, and Deadpool's gonna be mad about it. Um, so I'm really looking forward to that. I am curious about it at least. Let's see. My only personal issue is the trailer has been Wishaw's Michael, not the performance. Every time I hear him, all I hear is Paddington. Man, as someone that loves Paddington, I get you. I love those two movies, and hearing him, yeah, it's definitely Paddington. I can't remember who was supposed to be Paddington first, but it wasn't him, and then they had to change it. But yeah, yeah, I love Paddington, so I get you there. It's pretty funny. Let's see. I just hate trailers that dubstep and blast noise. Yeah, it's depending on the movie. Some movies need that because that's what the movie is. But yeah, a lot of trailers are just kind of loud. Um, I love how quick Disney jumped. It was Ralph who broke YouTube when it was down for 2 hours. Someone in marketing is clever. Yeah, whenever that was a weird night when YouTube went down. Um, because every person that has their career on YouTube was trying to act like they were handling it okay. They're like, "Oh, do I get a break now? Please come back. Please come back. Do I get a break? I get a break now. YouTube's down. Please come back. I don't want to have my career ruined." It was kind of funny. Which I mean, you knew it was going to come back. Who knows what the heck happened? I think they were changing something in the algorithm. Is why it went down. I think they put it down on purpose, but who knows why. Um, let's see. Am I interested in the Kurt Russell Santa Claus movie? Yes, I am. I've seen the pictures. I don't know if they did it. I don't know if they have a trailer out or not. If they do, I haven't seen it. Oh, that's right. Colin Firth was going to be the voice of Paddington. Thank you. I had his face in my head. I just couldn't think of his name because I'm. It's been a long day. Day after elections at work is a long day. But yes, I am interested in the Kurt Russell Santa Claus movie. I don't know. Is it gonna? I don't know if that movie's gonna be a comedy or what. I'd love to see a serious type Santa Claus movie. I doubt it's, and I doubt this is gonna be a serious type Santa Claus movie. And I think he can pull off the part. Kurt Russell's amazing, so why not? Um, but I am curious about that. Um, I'm curious what kind of movie it's going to be in, but I think Kurt Russell will be just fine as Santa Claus. I've seen the pictures and I think he looks great. Let's see. Colin said he wasn't a good fit for the voice. Well, if he didn't think he did the part right. I mean, maybe he wasn't. Uh, Ben Whishaw is great, and those movies are great. Those movies, the two Paddington movies, for the first one is you saw the trailers for it and you're like, man, this is going to be another Alvin and the Chipmunks live action, or a Garfield or or a Smurfs. That's all you think about is like, man, another one. And then you see the movie and how damn creative that thing is. Um, the imagination of the first Paddington movie is fantastic, and then you hear they're doing a second one, and my first thought was, oh boy, cash grab. And then you see that movie, and though the villain one might have been a little generic, uh, the movie itself is fantastic too. The sequel's great. I mean, I still think the first one's a better movie overall, but the second one still has the heart and the imagination and great characters in it, and they're both really good, and they're both just bumped my monitor, sorry about that. They're both like way better than they have any right to be, and I'm okay with that. And I think the Paddington movies are the only reason that Disney made the Winnie the Pooh movie or the Christopher Robin movie, the live action ones, because they're like, hey, we want that. We don't own Paddington. What do we have that we can make into a movie like that? Because if you saw Christopher Robin, you could definitely tell that half that movie was Paddington. And Paddington's a way better movie. I enjoyed the Christopher Robin movie, but Paddington, both of them are way better movies. Let's see, favorite Christmas movies. Every year, at least every other year, I try to watch Die Hard, and yes, I don't care what Bruce Willis said. It is a Christmas movie. He's like, it's a Bruce Willis movie. Well, yes, but it's also a Christmas movie. And though I know people's opinion of Kevin Spacey isn't the greatest, I love The Ref. That's my go-to Christmas movie because I like my Christmas movies with edge. And as much as I like seeing oh, like a Christmas Story and things like that, I've seen it way too many times that I just can't watch it anymore without me not wanting to watch it. And even though I love it, um, ones that I think I don't like very much are like oh, It's a Wonderful Life. I'm just not a fan of. I do like seeing adaptations of Scrooge. I love the animated Disney Scrooge. That's another one I go to. Um, like the Tim Allen Christmas one. I think I saw the first Tim Allen Christmas one. I think they did what, 3 or 4 of those? Um, I remember seeing the first one. I don't remember much about it. Um, I'm sorry. Yeah, Hugh Grant was I'm mixing up my villains, because Nicole Kidman was the villain in the first Paddington then. She was the generic villain. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I liked Hugh Grant. He was the villain in the second one. I was getting them mixed up. Yeah, Hugh Grant was great, and I liked Nicole Kidman in the first one, but she was just kind of a generic villain. But she was still really good in the movie, still really good. Yeah, I was getting my villains mixed up. Paul is another great movie like Paddington, but for adults. I'm not sure what Paul is. Yeah, Muppet Scrooge is yeah, I like Muppet Scrooge too. Of course it's Muppets. And even the bad Muppet movies are still okay. Let's see. Hey, reviews from the Beyond. What's going on? Oh, that's okay. People misspell my name all the time anyway. And Geno's a nickname anyway. So let's see. Black Christmas, Silent Night, Deadly Night, Krampus. We need more horror Christmas movies. Yes, we do. When it came to movies like Krampus, I liked Krampus for what it was, but I think it could have been more because I predicted the ending of that movie, and spoiler alert, the happy ending ends up being in a snow globe. Um, and I saw that coming a mile away, unfortunately, though I thought it was fine. Paul's a Seth. Oh yeah, yeah, I remember Paul. That was from like the first year I did movie reviews. I was like 20. Excuse me, I was like 2011. Sorry, I got to get my Lebowski on here for a second. Um, yeah, Paul's yeah, the Alien movie Sign Peg. Yeah, I do remember that now. I remember enjoying that movie because they did Comic Con and everything in that movie. Yeah, I remember seeing it. I named it. I think my favorite comedy that year. Um, I do remember that now. It's just been a long time since I've seen it. I don't get to watch a lot of movies over again. I just for the first time in a long time got to watch a movie over again. I ended up watching The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Was it last night or the night before? Because of the new movie coming out. Because there's like they're saying, well, even though it's not the same actress and not the same director, not the same everything, but it's still part of the universe. So you kind of might want to know. It's like, come on. And that I mean said, and I have to be in a weird state to watch that movie. I love that movie, but I have to be in a weird state to watch it. And thankfully, I wasn't feeling good, and I was in a weird state. I wasn't enough to watch it. Um, but you know, uh, I am ready for the new movie, though. I am looking forward to that. But yeah, I don't get to watch movies over again, unfortunately. I just not enough time in the day. I mean, I could not sleep less. Uh, let's see. What else? Yeah, I don't remember Krampus enough to know if Kathy Bates was in that or not. I don't remember the movie enough. I remember the creature and I remember the ending. It's about it. Um, let's see. Love Don't Breathe. And looking forward to the new one. Yeah, I heard they were doing a new one of those. Uh, I though I thought that the oh the whole thing in the basement of that movie um was weird. I was happy they were going to make another one because that ending just said you need to make another one. But I remember I believe I can't remember if I named him my favorite villain, but Stephen Lang was like my favorite villain from the Opie Awards that year. Um, and he actually responded back to me over Twitter and was thankful that I gave him an award and everything. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they're going to continue that. Are they going to be, because they were what trying to skip town, and it's like all of a sudden it's like, yeah, he's still alive, dun dun dun. So I am curious what they're going to do with Don't Breathe. Um, I hope they don't try to do this all the same exact stuff as the first one. I hope they step up their game a little bit with that, but I am looking forward to that. Um, let's see, what TV show do I hope gets theatrical feature film? I don't get to watch a lot of TV shows anymore. The one that I wanted, and I actually found out the other day that they considered doing it. Um, Game of Thrones was talking about. I always said, you should do the finale in the theater, like a 2 hour, 3 hour finale, and just go all full blown big budget, right? Um, and then come to find out that they considered doing the final season as like three movies, like three 2 hour some movies. Um, but that's the one I think some it'd have to be something like big time fantasy or something like that. I mean, as much as I'd love to. I mean, they've done, the shows that I used to watch. Them doing a movie of them. They would always do it on the channel, like your Law and Orders or Homicide: Life on the Street. I just don't get to watch a lot of shows anymore. I mean, if you look at things like, Charlie Cox's Daredevil or something, I would love to see, a movie of that. But then again, we get 13 episodes that we can watch right away. So that's almost a movie in and of itself, as much money as they put into some of that stuff now. So if I had to say anything, it'd be Game of Thrones. Let's see. Uh yeah, they gave a little gave us like extra yeah, they gave like this extra exposition at the end. If you're talking about Don't Breathe, yeah, I'm really curious what they're gonna do with that. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about, definitely put it in the chat. Just gonna give the news one more little look here. And then we'll probably call it a night. Again, if you guys saw Bohemian Rhapsody, I am really curious of what everyone thought about the changes they made in that movie. I haven't seen it yet. They released a Secret Life of Pets 2 trailer. It says now 100% Louis CK free. Um, let's see. There's no really other big news out right now that I've seen. They're making a Clueless remake, which kind of, again, it doesn't really surprise me. It'll be lots of stuff about texting and everything now, I think. Um, let's see. Let's see. There are some current cartoons with movies in the works, like Bob's Burger. Really, there's a Bob's Burgers movie. I mean, granted, I'd be okay with that. I enjoyed that show when I watched it. Nickelodeon's The Loud House. I think I watched that with my kids once, and we didn't watch it again. Um, I don't remember enjoying that show too much. Let's see, but that's been put on hold. Another, if we're talking kids movies, I don't know if, I mean, I wouldn't want to see like a live action hybrid or anything. Shows like We Bear Bears, I wouldn't mind seeing a movie of. Um, but I just think that show's totally. I don't know how more people haven't heard of that show. Um, let's see. What did you think was too sugar coated? The ending to uh, Don't Breathe. Um, but anyway, let's see. We'll look at news one more time. Yeah, there's really no more new news. But yeah, yeah. All right. Let's see. They'll probably seem super petty and new clueless. They balance it super well in the original, but I'm positive there'll be monsters in the new one. I could see that. Oh no, the Queen film. Yes, they definitely sugarcoat it. Thank you for explaining. Yeah, I haven't looked over all what notes I want to say in my review, but I just felt like with the Queen movie, they I know two of the band members were kind of helping with the script and everything, and I feel like I don't know if they purposely tried to villainize Freddie Mercury, which granted I think, the issues, I mean, they have a part in the movie where they break up because Freddie wants to do a solo act. Well, they don't even mention that the other band members in the real life did solo stuff first. And they talk about when he revealed he had AIDS, and when they said they sugarcoat the bisexuality. If you really want to look into it, History versus Hollywood's website did a fantastic like breakdown of here's what they changed, here's what really happened type stuff. They do a fantastic job of that stuff. Um, I always go to them with biopics and everything. Biopics are very tricky because with biopics, yeah, you want to change some things for drama's sake, but when you change too much of true life or you skip too much of true life, it makes me just where I'd rather see a documentary instead, because then you get real footage of the person and everything. And I'm not saying the performances in Bohemian Rhapsody were bad or anything. I thought they were decent. Of course, the soundtrack's fantastic because I mean I love Queen, so But I tell you what though, anytime I'd hear music from that movie, uh, I'd hear like Another One Bites the Dust, which would make me think of the Junkyard Dog and the old WWF coming out to a song because that's my favorite Queen song. Um, Whenever they played Bohemian Rhapsody, of course, think of Wayne's World. When they play I don't know the official name of it, but the "Do You Want to Live Forever" song from Highlander, it makes me go want to go home and watch Highlander. That's how good their music was, especially on for use for other things and how I heard them first. Um, of course, the "Have a Good Time" song made me want to watch Hardcore Henry again. I mean, there's just all sorts of that stuff. Um, in that sense, it was fine, but I felt like they skipped out on too many. Uh, too They skipped out on a better story. I mean, look at a movie like Straight Outta Compton, which is, I mean, it's not perfect, but they didn't sugarcoat that movie hardly any. There was a few times they made themselves look a little too good, but most times they let the flaws be there. And it was definitely good that that movie was R-rated because you couldn't have songs like Straight Outta Compton and have the censored versions and people believe it. Um, but I just felt they wanted to reach a wider audience with Bohemian Rhapsody. Uh, and so they aimed for PG-13, so they sugarcoated everything. And I there's things to like about it, but as a biopic, I thought it failed pretty miserably. But anyway, well, guys, I think that's going to be all for tonight. We've been going a little over an hour and a half. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you so much for listening to what I have to talk about. I'll be giving more updates on the channel. I have some ideas I want to try, um, but it's one of those: can I do it? Can I afford it? Uh, do I have the time? There's so many things that I want to try that will I ever get to do it? I've had ideas on my head for years that it's like, well, I can't do it this time. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. And again, what's cool about this program today is it should put me over that YouTube threshold finally since 2011, and that's exciting for me. It's one of those things that just makes me it'd be like, "Hey, I got finally got money from this." And again, it's not gonna be my career, but it's just one of those neat little things that it's just like, "Hey, cool, I'm hitting this threshold finally." And again, it's not why I do this, but it's a nice little icing on the cake type of thing. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I definitely appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much, and as always, cheers.